We're going to be reviewing the 3 biggest mistakes in boxing, strength and conditioning. Hello everybody, welcome to Boxing Science. In this video, we're going to be looking at the 3 biggest mistakes that boxers and coaches make when implementing strength and conditioning for boxing and combat sports. Strength and conditioning is growing and very much part of an athlete's preparation, and we see a lot of stuff across social media. Some are good and have a big influence on how athletes are now preparing for fights, but there's also a lot of mistakes still being made out there. So in this video, I'm going to be highlighting the 3 top mistakes that I see from an outsider looking in, and also talking to athletes that come in on the Boxing Science program. So mistake number 1 is using too advanced exercises too early on, whether that's using explosive exercises such as jumps, loaded jumps, plyometrics, but more frequently is doing more punch-specific exercises. So using stuff like landmine punches, med ball punches, band and shadow box, using these kind of exercises very early on, and maybe overemphasizing the importance of these exercises as well. In Boxing Science, we're big believers in using punch-specific exercises to transfer them strength and movement adaptations into a technical setting. However, you kind of need to earn your stripes first. There's a saying in strength and conditioning, you can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe. You need to make sure that you have them strong foundations first before you start working on more explosive exercises. You know, at Boxing Science, we do post a lot about punch-specific exercises. The reason why is because this gets more interest. So we get people more interested into the program, and then we bring them into our more core values, which are to help improve athletic development, where we're using very general exercises that could potentially be used in golf, football, rugby, use trap bar deadlift, use squat, use some pressing. This can be implemented into any strength and conditioning program for any sport. But then we know the context of how to use these exercises and when to suit boxers, but also we use exercises that can help transfer them strength and power gains into a boxing specific setting. But it's learning what exercises to use at the right time. And what we see a lot across social media is people overemphasizing the use of these exercises, and also only doing these without actually doing the main fundamentals. On the flip side, I see a lot of negativity about punch-specific exercises, that they shouldn't be used, such as like landmine punches, and you should just be doing deadlift, bench, rows. There needs to be a world where we've got both. We're using exercises to really build athletic development, promote physical adaptations. We're then transferring them strength and power adaptations in a punch-specific exercise where we're targeting that kinetic chain sequencing. We're looking at a direct transfer of the strength and power gains into that punch-specific action. This is something that is seen across all different sports, whether it's football or rugby. They'll do some sort of loaded exercise that looks very much like the sport. In golf, they use like a heavier club sometimes, or a longer club, where they are overloading that swinging action. There needs to be some sort of specific overload to transfer that strength and power, but also there needs to be a general point of view. So mistake number 1, overemphasizing or using explosive exercises first without building them foundations. So mistake number 2, underloading maximum strength. So this is very much like the point that we raised in point number 1 when looking at using too much punch-specific and explosive exercises rather than using the heavy loaded exercises. But even when athletes are doing maximum strength training, they're often underloaded, not looking to actually target maximum strength, maybe going to high volume or going to high speed. There might be some limitations to this, and something that I'm going to come on to within this point as well. But what we see a lot with boxers when they come into the program is that they're often underloaded in terms of their maximum strength. We do this through a load velocity profile, where we're doing a trap bar deadlift, looking at their lifting velocities at light loads versus heavier loads. And what we're likely to see is that an athlete is more adapted and more accustomed to light loads than they are to the heavier loads. The reason why I think that this is actually occurring is because there's a lack of strength and conditioning from a younger age. Athletes are getting into strength and conditioning relatively older than athletes in different sports, talking about football, golf, rugby, younger athletes are getting involved with strength and conditioning very early on, whereas like I see a lot of amateur or professional boxers getting involved with strength and conditioning in their late teens or maybe early 20s, whereas like a lot of other sports start implementing strength and conditioning from a younger age. Also, there's a lack of facilities and lack of guidance. Some research that's just recently come out, our very own Alan Ruddock has looked at the strength and conditioning practices across over 67 coaches, and they've seen that the use of maximum strength training, even though that they know what the importance of maximum strength training is for punching power, they're often limited in terms of like their confidence, the guidance, but also the facilities that they have. You know, not many boxing gyms have facilities to do heavy deadlifts or heavy squats. They might only have a few dumbbells in the corner or a kettlebell as well. This might be a limitation. Also, there's movement limitations in terms of mobility, flexibility, stability as well, that challenges an athlete. And also there's a belief that maximum strength training can end up making them feel stiff, bulky, and maybe making them slower as well. So what we need to do is to get athletes and coaches to buy in, to increase their knowledge, increase their confidence in being able to lift heavy. We do this by building up them foundations using some variations of compound lifts. So let's talk about deadlift in particular. We'll start off using some regressions, using some kettlebell variations. And that's a kettlebell RDL or a kettlebell sumo deadlift, using bands on this to develop that speed and intent during a relatively lighter exercise. And then start to use trap bar deadlifts, using the trap bar deadlift on higher volumes to start off with, 5 or 6 repetitions, before start working on maximum strength loads, maybe going towards 3 repetitions when an athlete becomes stronger and more robust. And when an athlete becomes stronger and proficient at lifting at a decent load, let's say 2 times the body weight, you might look to use some partial range exercises. So we're looking at super maximal strength training, and this will really start to unlock an athlete's maximum strength. If this is something that you're struggling with, mistake number 2 in boxing strength conditioning is underloading key compound lifts to work on maximum strength. Maximum strength is really important for that rate of force development that can transfer into punching harder. Make sure that we're approaching this in the right way, in a structured way, to make sure our athletes are feeling confident, building them foundations slowly, and then being able to unlock maximum strength once they become proficient at lifting. Mistake number 3 would be the lack of structure in terms of programming and maybe trying to do too much at once. An athlete, if they're wanting to work on strength, working on speed and power, they'll want to work at it all at the same time. Whereas like we need to work on block periodization to make sure that you're stimulating the physical response that we're targeting. Got a very limited window of opportunity in terms of working with boxers because they're working in intense training camps, they're doing high training loads, and also they're making weight at the same time. So this is very contradictory to the strength and power gains that we're trying to get in our strength and conditioning sessions. So if we're doing too many types of exercises and we're doing too many types of physical adaptations that we're trying to target, we're kind of leaving ourselves in no man's land. What the body is requiring is a consistent, frequent stimulus to be able to achieve a physical adaptation. So this is why we use block periodization. We go for maximum strength, strength speed, and then speed strength going towards the fight. Then also we use our very structured protocol where we use an extended warm-up of plyometrics and punch-specific exercises. Then we go through our pillars of strength, so separating this into 2 different sessions, whether that's squat, pressing, pulling, and also single leg exercise. And also we've got our hinge exercises and core exercises to use as well, making sure that this is distributed over the 2 sessions. So we're ticking every single box during a training week, keeping that stimulus controlled over 3 to 4 weeks, and then changing that stimulus again in different blocks as we're going towards a fight. If you're needing help with this, drop me an email, dannywilson@boxercise.co.uk, and we can see whether you can get onto one of our bespoke plans. Okay guys, so that is the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. That's our 3 biggest mistakes of boxing strength and conditioning. Let me know in the comment box below if this is a mistake that you're making at the moment or something that you've recognized with some of your athletes or fellow coaches. If you see anything else that you think that might be a mistake or something that you want to query or ask a question, leave that in the comment box below as well. If this is the kind of video that you like, hit the like button so let us know so we can keep providing this kind of content for you. And also, if you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content, and also support the growth of the channel. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video of Boxing Science.